2025 Xiaomi SU7 Electric Car in VR. Hello there everybody and welcome to OpaFed Gaming. I am the OpaFed. Today we're driving a 2025 Xiaomi SU7 car in a special race called the Xiaomi SU7 Ultra One-Make. We're driving at the Deep Forest Raceway. We're doing 7 laps and we start at 10th of 10 cars with a rolling start. Now these laps are, well, they're decent length, not too long, but they're not really short either, so they're going to take a little while because there's 7 of them. But we are going at a fairly good clip, so they're going to go by a little quicker than you actually would realize when you're not paying attention and you're just kind of focused on the racing part of the game. Now, there's a couple of places that are really nice to pass in this track. One of them is coming up right here, and you can either come around from behind that car on the left or the right, whichever side you like. Just be aware of the fact that they try to close into the left-hand side here, and then they move back to the other side of the track over here. So just remember that when you're trying to pass anybody in a tunnel, that they're going to move back and forth from side to side in there, so that you don't get into a collision of some sort. Then another good place to pass is right in here, but you got to be really careful. Now I passed this guy on the outside of the corner here, which probably wasn't the smartest thing to do because the track really pulls you to the right here, and really here too. I mean, if you're not careful and let up on the throttle a little bit, then you're going to slam into the wall. But if you can make it by that little wall area, it's a nice straight section there too, to be able to maybe pass a car or two there. Now we only have 9 cars to pass, so there's not a lot of cars, and 7 laps. It doesn't take a long time to race them, and you're going to get up near the front of the pack fairly quickly, you know. And it seems like our car seems to go a little bit faster and maneuvers the track a little bit better than some of these other guys. And you look at the guy in front of me, he's just sliding off to the left. I don't know what he's doing, but he's just being more of a pylon in the way than anything else. So we gotta get by him. So if you take your time and you focus on the sections that are straight, like this one here again, like I said, we're gonna cut them on the left-hand side this time, and you pick off 1 here, 1 there, or 2 there, you're gonna move up fairly quickly. There again, like I said, in this part of the tunnel, it's a little harder to see, but we get on the inside of this guy and we get by him too. So if you start passing 2 cars per lap, that's 14 cars in the 7-lap race, and we only got 9 that we got to pass. So we're just going to slowly catch up to them and slowly pick them off one at a time. And we're already almost ending the 2nd lap. We're going to be starting the 3rd lap here pretty quick, and we've moved up quite a few cars already, and it doesn't seem like the other cars here are quite as powerful. Maybe we got a better motor in ours. Maybe ours is just a little bit faster than the other cars. Oh, they're all supposed to be the same. Anyhow, we're in our 3rd lap, I believe. I keep losing track of the lap on this particular race. I don't know why. Now, I don't keep track of the cars I count. As you know, the OpaFed can only keep track of one thing at a time, and that's usually laps, and I'm failing at that one here. So, but I do believe this is the 3rd lap. We're just going to drive a nice, even, methodically raced race, and we're just going to, whenever we catch up to somebody, we'll try and get by them as quickly as we can, and then just keep moving up. We're not going to overdo it and hammer down here and hammer. There's no need for it because we got enough time. Just try and make your passing decisions a little bit better. See, I waited a little bit too long as he's starting to come over to the other side already, and I just snuck through there in time. So we did okay. Now we can still see 2 cars in front of us, and like I said, I think we are just finishing our 3rd lap here now. So we're not quite halfway through the race yet, but it's picking up. We're getting there fairly quickly. And like I said, when you're focused on the race and you're trying to pass a guy or waiting for another section, trying to be a little patient, you tend to forget the overall race part, and the laps just kind of seem to tick off one at a time, you know. So that you got to keep that in mind, because now we're into lap number 4, I believe. I believe that was the 3rd lap. See, this is where I lose count. I don't know what it is with these 7-lap races. I always lose count in the middle somewhere. Oh well, that's okay. We're going to keep racing until we get to the end. Either way, we're going to get to the finish line. Whether we're going to be 1st or 2nd or 3rd, that still remains to be seen. But it doesn't look like these other cars in this particular race are a lot of competition. So we're just going to stay behind the guy. When it's difficult to pass and you don't really need to, you might as well just stay behind them and wait until you get to a section like this. Now you know you got room here, so you can blast by him if you want, but sometimes it's better to stick behind him and wait. You know, it all depends. I mean, we're still moving pretty good, and if there's any more cars in front of him, we're going to be catching up to them sooner or later too at the speed that we're going. So there's really no point in trying to pass this guy in a chaotic manner. Although we are going to pass him sooner or later. Now we can only let him sit in front and be our pace car for so long, which we do like to do, because it does give us a reason, a way of keeping a steady speed going, which we always seem to have a little bit of trouble with if we were leading. If we're leading, it's tough trying to judge how fast you should go and how fast you should push, that the cars behind you can't catch you. And when you're driving in VR and you got your display off, all you've got is your rear view mirrors, and as you can see the cars in the rear view mirror. And you know my motto: if you can see them in the rear view mirror, they're too close, because that means that any one tiny little mistake and you drive off the track or something happens and they're by you, and there might not be enough time in the race left to be able to catch up to them and pass them. So you don't want to have that happen. You're better off to go a little bit slower, have a little bit of patience. They're staying about the same distance behind me. Well, they're getting a little bit closer, so we might be smart to pass this guy fairly soon here. Maybe we should pass him in this tunnel here now. We've got the speed. We're right beside. Oh, look at that. He even ran into us. He really didn't want us to pass, but that's just too bad, because now we're by him. We're by him and we're done with him. We're going to keep him in our rearview mirror and make sure that he doesn't catch back up to us. And let's pay attention this time as we're coming around the corner here. This lap is almost over, and this is where I kept getting confused before. I thought this was lap number 6, but it's only lap number 5. Only lap number 5, so we still got 2 laps to go yet. Now, with no cars in front of you, you can use the full width of the track. You can go as fast as you can down the straights, which is where you want to go as fast as you can, so that you can take a little bit of extra time around some of the tighter corners. Go a little bit slower, take a little more time, and then get that time back on the straights. And then that way, the cars that are behind you can't catch you just because of the corners if you keep reclaiming your time on the straight sections, which is what we're going to do. Because we still got a little ways to go, and like I said, I'm still struggling with knowing exactly how hard I should push when I'm leading to keep the other cars from catching you. But as we're driving these last, we're down to about a lap and a half left to go, we're gonna keep a steady. See, there's a guy in our rearview mirror there. We're just around in the corner, so they're a little ways behind us, but we can still see them. We know they're there, and if you let up at all, like I said, they'll be right behind you, and they might even yet. We don't know. It all depends on how we're gonna do in this very last lap. As we're coming around the corner here again. I just love this little hill here. I always try to push it a little bit and go to the left here. and then stick to the left so that it doesn't pull your car over too hard, although it still does over here. It's just a fantastic, fantastic track to run. I love it. Anyhow, we're in our last lap here now, and it looks like not a single soul is gonna compete for the checkered flag in this one. We're just ripping through the track here, going from side to side, keeping it going at a nice even speed. It is a little unnerving driving an electric car. I do have to admit I'm a little partial to the roar of the internal combustion engine. I love the sound of a nice throaty 350 or 427 with a 4-barrel or headers on it, whichever combination. I love the fuel-based engines and the way they sound. I guess that's just the way we grew up in our day. So electric cars a little bit different, but they're slowly going that way because they seem to be a better source of energy, I suppose. In the meantime, we are still in the race here, and we're coming up to the end of the 7th lap. I really enjoyed this one, had a lot of fun driving it. It was a different car, I'm telling you. I don't usually drive cars like this. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Hope to see you back at OpenFed Gaming again. Till then, you've been driving in a 2025 Xiaomi SU7 Electric Car. Hope I said that right. With me as a driver, the OpenFed.